the vid.
Yeah.
Which I'm good. I tested myself a couple of times and I am negatory, so which is good. And
she's past the
she's past the quarantine thing. So other than that, just working, trying to take care of her, make sure she's good. I got a show in Morrisville this Saturday. 9:30 Morrisville Woody's, 9:30 to 12:30. If you're in Morrisville, North Carolina, come on out and check me out. The full band.
Woody's.
Me and the boys.
Woody's. Okay. I know where Woody's is.
Well, no, this the new Woody's. This is Woody down on Chapel Hill. We're not at that one. It's a newer one. It's over in Morrisville. I'll shoot you the address.
I thought they're both in Morrisville. It's just not the old one we used to go watch wrestling at.
There's Woody's downtown Raleigh.
Right.
And then there's Woody's on Chapel Hill Road.
Right.
That's Cary. And then Woody's in Morrisville.
Oh.
Yeah.
Must be nice to have that kind of money.
Oh.
I was hoping someone would be in the audience so they could tell us if these mics are working.
Well, I can tell you, but if I do that, you're going to hear the sound of my phone.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we're the only ones here right now. You can go ahead and do that.
So let's see if we hear ourselves. Let me turn it down a little bit, turn the volume down, so at least it doesn't hopefully feedback.
What about me? What about me? Okay. Yeah, I think they sound pretty good.
All right, cool. Sorry about that. We're still testing out. Rob's got new toys.
Yeah, Rob's got a lot of new toys all of a sudden. I got a new keyboard, got a new mouse. It's one of these little funky ones that has like the lights on it. Got an Xbox controller over there with the lights on it. Got the keyboard with the lights on it.
Not used to seeing my whole.
I know,
kind of like
and I
feel weird.
I like it because our setup now, folks, like we should be able to read the comments a little bit easier.
Oh yeah,
because with so just so everybody knows, it to me it even looks like the lighting is better now. Well, no, it's because of the monitor, because how much ambient light you get off the monitor. So I just recently I told myself I was going to finally buy a new laptop after like 9 years. I had it last week. We were on the show with it last week. This week I was like, I really want to get a new monitor so that when I'm sitting there writing trivia or whatever, I can have like the different websites that I'm like looking up the trivia, so I can be typing it on the one screen while I've got everything going on the other screen. So I went ahead and I did that, and I bought a 34-inch ultra wide, which, I mean, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. And then, of course, when I did that, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to need a new keyboard. I'm going to need a new mouse, because what I really want is me to be able to unplug this with just one unplug. And right now it's not. It's like 3 different things need to be unplugged to unplug it. But I want to get it to where it's just one thing unplugged, and I can take it on the go with me.
Now, do they have such things as big screens like this where it's Bluetooth? You can do it from the computer to the monitor. You know what I mean?
So
you don't have to have all this?
They do, but when you end up doing those, you lose quality. So like this thing, and before you leave, I will show you the quality of it, because as you see by up here in the top left corner over here, it says 165 hertz. So it is basically broadcasting at about 2.25 times what like your average TV does in terms of visual quality.
See, we have the computer that my work gave us is a Windows computer, but I use my MacBook. So I'm wondering, I guess I can hook my MacBook up to something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, a monitor is pretty much universal. The computer has something on it called Thunderbolt, which is basically a USB-C port, but it allows for video, audio, and other connectivity. So like apparently they call it Thunderbolt 4 because like 4 things. Oh, and power can go through it too. So you can have all those things going through it at once. But the quality of it, like what you actually get, is a massive. And like I said, I will show you before you leave exactly what kind of quality we're talking about.
And you're running everything out that key. So if you close this, does that go away?
Yes. Yeah. Right now, and there's what I need to do is I need to buy what they call a laptop dock.
Yeah.
And I did buy one. I bought this little this little hyper one right here, but it doesn't give me the quality that I want for the monitor when the monitor is plugged into it. So I'm taking this back. And what I'll have to do at some point is go out and buy like one of the expensive ones. Not doing it anytime soon. I'll work with what I got right now. But the cool thing about that is when you've got all that set up, you're literally going one Thunderbolt port into that dock, and then everything else, you hide your wires, you do all that stuff. And so when I buy when I buy a new desk, that's probably what I'll do.
Guess I'm wondering, that thing probably cost you a pretty penny. I'm thinking about getting one.
So the monitor was $750.
$750.
It was, but it's 2 monitors. It's literally the size of 2 monitors.
Oh yeah.
And if you're gonna buy 2 monitors at $350 a piece, might as well get one.
Go to Best Buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so 18 months, no interest.
I'll just get a Best Buy card.
Yeah. Like I said, 18 months, no interest. It's got a 3-year warranty on it. So, the computer's got a 5-year warranty where they actually come and they fix it for me at the house. The monitor's got a 3-year warranty. Yes, I have to probably send it off to get it fixed or whatever, but
I still have to. Oh, if I wanted to, well, the camera, I have to buy a camera to put up there if I wanted. Like if I'm home, I have to just do it off my MacBook.
I mean, you can. So I mean, this obviously has a camera on it as well. But the way that I wanted to set us up in here,
yeah.
Because as you can tell, I think this is probably the best setup that we've had. The way it looks and everything. Well, you got to get your own chair. I moved my respawn chair up here. No, I don't like that chair either. I don't like any of those chairs. That's why I don't even use the table anymore. I just still have those chairs in case people come over. Like when you walked in the house, you probably noticed that there was a big gap where this chair used to be downstairs.
I didn't even.
Yeah. Now it's not there. Now it's up here.
I didn't even notice it.
Because having that, I figure, maybe I'll start doing some PC gaming. Brought my headset up here. Got an Astro A50, $300 headset. Got a $200 Razer controller. It just never used any of that stuff. So now it all plugs into this little guy right here. And I figured might as well bring up the good chair, and I could sit here, grab my keyboard, grab my mouse, put them right here, and just start gaming. So, but the couple of the reasons why I wanted this setup, I never used this office for anything. We used to.
Yeah, when we first started, but then I think
when you hurt your knee, and then we just never came back upstairs.
Yeah.
So I was like, nope, I want to start using the office for stuff. So here we are. We're in the office. At some point, I actually want to sit there and see if I can get the sound levels right, so I can do some audio recording and whatever, and we'll go from there. So I also noticed that StreamYard has some new cool features on it. So like if I want, I can actually add a second screen. We're not going to, but we can. So like if we wanted to show like a video from YouTube or whatever, I could actually pop that up there now.
Gotcha.
Pretty cool, right? So anyways, that's really what I've been up to. Not much else. 2 things actually. KeenSpot now has a title coming out. Today was the last day to order it at your local comic book shop. It's called Mark Spears Monsters. I brought it to KeenSpot, as associate editor. I get to bring them some projects and say, hey, I really think that you ought to take a look at this one. So I brought them this project, and it is now the highest selling creator-owned title that KeenSpot has ever sold.
Really?
Yes.
By who?
By Mark Spears, because it's Mark Spears Monsters.
Okay.
So I am literally just like the person that brought it to the company, but I'm still pretty excited about it.
I was pulling up the card.
Oh, and then this week, Died Hard finally goes to solicitation, so it'll be out in December, but it'll be orderable in October. So I started posting the artwork of the covers from that. So this week I'll be posting all the different covers for it. And Jay Hammond, the artist of Died Hard, actually sent, like right before we went on the air for this, went ahead and posted his that he's working on the first page of number 2 today.
Nice.
So So I'm pretty excited about that. That's really all I got going on. Obviously, you can go buy the book on Amazon. Just look up my name and it's orderable. Someone went ahead and read 85 pages of it. I don't know how. It's only 64 pages. Tino still hasn't read it.
Nah.
No. So, why?
Well, I mean, when your wife had COVID, dealing with son football.
Should have had her read it. She didn't have anything else going on.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk. You know my wife 20 years, and when she cusses you out, don't be butthurt.
When you say, "Hey, Rob gave me this book. Do you want to read it?"
She was trying not to puke. I don't think she was thinking about your book, dude. You had other things going on than your book.
So at least it's not my book that made her puke. So anyway, that's really what's been going on with me. Not a whole heck of a lot. I work at the state now, right?
Yeah.
So today, randomly, one of the buildings that they work in downtown is the Cooper building. I guess it's the Roy Cooper building. And today, randomly, at like 1:00 in the afternoon, I got an email that said evacuate the Cooper building. Not hey, we're having a fire drill or evacuate the building like right now. Right. Then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, another email. Now I'm working from home, so it doesn't matter to me. Like my day doesn't end. I just keep working. Seriously, evacuate the building now. The fire department will be here in a couple minutes. You got to be gone. Then, like 20 minutes later, another message comes that says,
"Get the fuck out!"
No, it says everything's okay at this point. It says everything's okay. Come back to work. Now this is after all the supervisors are sitting there saying, "Go home."
Yeah.
So I gotta wonder whether or not the people in that were working in that building today actually did go back to work, or if they just
come back to work. Seriously,
yeah, exactly.
Not playing.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, by the way, any of that, but
well, we'll find out tomorrow if you get the email.
Yeah, please don't talk about the fact that we evacuated the building for no reason yesterday.
Or I might just say,
"You're fired." Yeah. Let's hope not.
Take you forever to find this bitch, isn't
it? It did. So that's really what's been going on with me. Not a whole heck of a lot or anything. And of course, this weekend we had Summerslam.
Summerslam.
So, Tino, I basically all I saw online all day Sunday.
Do you remember SummerSlam?
I watched it on Sunday.
Tell them why I asked you that, Rob.
Well, all right. So I have a handheld breathalyzer, right?
Uh-huh.
So I had two sets of plans of things that I could have gone and done Sunday, but I couldn't do any of them.
I know.
Because just so you know, I still had alcohol in my system at 6:30 p.m.
Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
6:30 p.m.
Yes, I'm sure you did.
Really?
Yes. Because you remember what I asked you? Okay.
You asked if I was drunk.
Yeah, because I knew you. No, I didn't ask. I knew you were drunk.
But when you got to my house,
you were drunk. You know how I know you're drunk? Because I know when you're drunk. Because you get laughy and you want to hug people all the time, and your face was red and your eyes were glassy. You were gone. Yeah. And then I was like, "So, Rob, how much you have to drink?" And you said, "Look, this is my favorite part." I said, "How much you had to drink?" I said, "What is drink? Bourbon?" I said, "How many?" 4. I'm like, "Were they doubles? Maybe." It's rough. Bitch.
Yeah. Now that actually, I think I had even more than that. Because so I don't drink and drive.
Which I'm very proud of.
I take an Uber wherever I go. If I'm going to drink. So really, besides here at the house on Mondays now, Saturday is the only day I go out and I drink.
And originally, if my wife hadn't had COVID, my plan was to meet you so I could bring you back. But then the COVID thing threw everything up in the air.
Right. But either way, I mean, like, but my whole belief system on it is that if I were out drinking, I would spend a certain amount of money. So I have Ruckus rewards. Mm-hmm. So I sit there and I use my rewards every week because when I'm doing trivia, they give me rewards points, and that's part of my payment. So I use the rewards points, and that's how I pay for the drinks that day. So if I'm $18 Ubering there, $18 back, it's $36. That's a small night drinking.
Mm.
Like because nowadays, I mean, drink prices are just out. I mean, you get a beer at $7 somewhere.
I'm playing. I get a drink for free.
Well, see, that's just it.
Yeah.
Trivia. If I was drinking while I was there, so if I wanted to Uber there and back on the nights that like I get a $30 tab to drink and everything else that night too.
Right.
So I get my points, I get $30, and then I get paid. So just like you, right? The thing now is that like I'll typically go there, grab something to eat, and then whatever's left on my tab, I just give to the bartender so they can take care of themselves at the end of the night. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. The idea behind it for me though is that I drink here on Mondays when we're doing the show, and even that, like I didn't start before you got here, so I mean, like that was the first sip I've had, and I've now learned that if I pour up to that line right there, that's one full shot. So it's not a double, it's not anything special. So I only pour to that line. So responsible drinking, if you will.
That's Saturday.
And Saturday, yes, because I'm Ubering there, back, whatever, all of a sudden it becomes.
So I get here. He goes, I got a surprise for you. He texts, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, all right, because I'm a Crown dude. So he had single malt Crown. I'm like, all right, that's interesting. And so he goes, you want one now? I'm like, I just got here. And I hadn't eaten all day. I said, let me eat my food. I came in with McDonald's. Let me eat, and then I'll take a shot. So, I mean, I was still finishing my last bite. He's standing over me, one of those things. I'm like trying to chew, and he's like,
you know, this is still what's up with you. This isn't even Summerslam yet.
I'm trying to chew, and he gives me I'm like, all right. And I was like, oh, that one's kind of burning. All right.
So yeah, the single malt's pretty strong. Like it's the first time I've ever seen Crown Royal single malt because it's a blended whiskey. So we typically either drink regular Crown or sometimes I had an XO for a little while. And you know the one that I want to try is the blackberry, but
that's nasty.
Is it? Because it's like impossible to find.
Don't do it.
Maybe that's why it's impossible to find. But the new limited edition was a single malt, and first time I'd seen that, so I was like, we're gonna try this. It's SummerSlam. We'll do something nice.
And so then a friend Tony came over, and then him and Tony they were going. And so I probably had about 3 or 4 of this, and I'm like, dude, I'm done. He kept trying. I'm like, dude, I gotta drive. I'm done.
See, now I don't remember that. I remember 2. I remember 2.
You had about
No. I remember you having 2.
I had 3.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember you having 2.
No, I had 3, and then Tony. I had a total of 4. I'm like, dude, I can't drink anymore, right? And so this is when we were laughing. Rob would be.
Oh, I'm probably sleeping.
No, he was in the middle. You were like telling us, and me and Tony just looking at you, and Tony looked at me, and then this is the funny part. You finish your sentence like what the? You like glitched.
I learned that from my grandfather, by the way. My grandfather would literally, and he wasn't a drinker or anything. He would fall asleep in his chair in the living room, and you just and he'd start snoring, and then all of a sudden when he'd wake up, he'd finish the sentence.
Or our other favorite is we'd be watching and you'd be. What are you laughing at? Me and Tony were like, never mind, just.
It's a good thing I didn't take my pants off.
Dude, you were gone.
Yes, I was, but I woke up just in time to see the end of SummerSlam.
Then Tony had me long because you kept sneezing your hand, then you kept trying to touch him. He goes, go wash your hands.
I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah. And then you remember when you spilt the beer and you're like, or no liquor, and you clean it up, and he's like, that's your sock. Yeah, man, you clean it with your sock. I was like, hello. It's nasty. Oh, it was fun. Is Tony coming?
No, Tony's not coming. He's got an open invitation. But
damn it.
What is up, Mr. Helios? He's got the blackberry.
It's nasty.
So when I woke up on Sunday, here's what's funny.
You were still drunk.
Here's what's funny is I checked my BAC. This was, I don't know, like 9:00 in the morning, right? And there's been a couple times where I still have some in my system, but dude, I was like a 0.13 at that point.
I stopped drinking because you started me. Things started at 7. I took my last shot at like 9:15. Look, all right. And I got home and I got up to the front door and went to put the key in. I'm like, what? So I'm like, I didn't drink that much.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting one because again, I kept checking because I was supposed to. So okay, I was invited to the Ruckus pool party that they always have like once a year.
We're at
The owner's house.
Rob's house.
Yeah, Robert's house. So I was invited to that. Didn't go. I was invited to go have lunch with my mom. Didn't go.
Yes, because you're supposed to have dinner the night before.
No. I was invited the night before, but we had already made plans.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm the type of person that if I have plans, I keep those plans, you know. And then last night was also Cliff and Lauren's anniversary party that they were having at Alamo Draft House. That I might have been able to make it to because that was supposed to start at 6:30.
And you were sober by then.
Well, I was sober by 1:00 in the afternoon.
Your blood alcohol didn't say that.
Well, no. Sober versus legal limit. You know, I was below the legal limit by then.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I was sober, but I wasn't doing it. Like the body was like, no.
Yeah.
And my stomach hurt, and you know, like I ordered. I ended up ordering like Chinese food, which totally hit the spot. I could have
gave you the bubble guts. I could have gone.
No, it could have. But I just went with like sweet and sour chicken and white rice. You know, so it was easy enough to handle.
I do beef and broccoli. That's my go-to. I love beef and broccoli.
So yeah, kind of the same thing. You know, it's always sweet and sour chicken. Just like if I get Italian, it's always chicken parmesan.
Yeah. Matthew sweet and sour chicken. Haley's parmesan.
Yeah. Yep. So you know, like chicken parmesan, I could eat every day for the rest of my life.
Oh damn!
As long as I find a good one.
I get tired of it. I've never. I want to go one place sometime and get a good prime rib.
Oh, I can tell you exactly where to go.
You said Angus.
No.
Or the Peddlers, yes.
But when you want to go to the Peddler, you got to be there at they open I think at 5, and you got to be there at 4.
Yeah, I know me
too. Because they don't take reservations or anything. But it is the best prime rib you can have. All right, let's talk about SummerSlam.
All right.
So, first match of the night was Rhea versus Liv Morgan, right?
It was Jelly Roll against that song.
Oh yeah. But that wasn't even Jelly Roll's wrestling.
God bless America. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, so it was Rhea and Liv.
My shoes falling apart, like really bad too. Go ahead.
Rhea and Liv. It was a good match. They went back to Rhea's shoulder because Liv was working on the shoulder. Cool part of the night was where Rhea was getting her ass kicked and she rolled out the ring and threw her shoulder and didn't announce that, so popped it back into place.
Pulled the old Lethal Weapon.
Popped it back, and hey, it worked for me. Popped it back into place. I thought it was a good match. It was better than I thought it was going to be a squash match. I thought Rhea was going to whoop Liv's ass for most of that match.
And then still lose.
Yeah, and then Liv did a good job as a chicken shit heel. You know, she tried to run, but Rhea chased her down and caught her, and you know, they would have had a good back and forth.
I liked how they did that, by the way, because like every time Rhea would get out of the ring, Liv would hop back in. Then all of a sudden, as soon as Rhea would get back up on the apron, Liv would dump out. And then all of a sudden, Rhea went to roll out
and back in.
Liv rolled back, and then she just rolled over, and she's just staring at her, and she's like,
"Yeah." So that was good. Then Dirty Dom came into play, so we knew that Dom was going to come into play. Rhea had a chair. He snatched the chair. Now when he pushed that chair back in the ring, right? He was looking at Liv when he did it, but everybody thought he did it for Rhea. Did you notice that? Everybody was like, who did he prove that to? He was looking at Liv when he threw that chair in the ring.
Yeah, because that's when he finally turned on her. But you know, my biggest problem with these types of matches where you know that you want someone to turn on their tag team partner or
significant other
or their significant other in this situation, the thing that you always want or the thing that you never see is it happens at the beginning of the match. It never happens at the beginning because it's got to be the swerve, right? But like what I hate is when it's tag teams, because tag teams, they'll work together the entire match until all of a sudden it's like, nope, I'm hopping off the apron. And it's like, fuck you. Like, why would you put yourself through that much damage against another team for that long to just sit there and go, hey, buddy,
Swerve. Who's
when you
house?
drive? The separated shoulder thing, by the way, for theatrics, I get it. And it also made Liv the aggressor, which is perfectly acceptable for it. I had two issues with it.
But you also, I didn't, because they always talk about if Stone Cold's knee was fucked up, what they always go after. You know, when Edge came back with the neck, what they go after. So it made sense for Liv, to a bigger opponent who she knew would probably whip her ass, go for that shoulder.
No. And it also makes it so it makes it harder to go for a finisher.
Mhm.
It also makes I get all that. And and obviously that's where the injury was.
Mhm.
So I don't have any problems with any of that. I do have a problem with the fact that when she went to pop it back in, it popped out again and then popped back in again. And I didn't like that. But here's where I really didn't like it. And it's got nothing to do with that match. It has to do with the Braun Breaker match right after it, where the very thing that Braun Breaker did at the very beginning of the match was go into the turnbuckle, and all of a sudden he's holding his shoulder for the rest of the match. So they went for the same injury in 2 matches in a row.
Okay. He had to sell the injury. We'll talk about it because we're still in this match. He had to sell an injury, and because that's his finisher. So they had to sell. But we'll talk about that when we get in that match.
Well, I'm just saying that like by having it be this, like I would have spaced out the matches differently if you're going to have them both sell a shoulder injury in the same, one match after another.
Possibly, I can see that. I can see that.
The spacing of it.
I can see that.
Like if you don't want to finish 2 matches by somebody going through a table in a row.
I see what you're saying. All right, I give you that. I give you that.
Granted, Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn wasn't going to be the main event, but they could have moved it further down the line, or they could have had Liv and Rhea further down the line.
I think that was a good opening match.
It was a great opening match.
Yeah.
And the match order, besides that, perfectly fine. The fact that there were 6 title matches and 1 non-title match on this card, and they were all singles matches. I don't remember the last time we've seen that. Like, we still got some tag team action in there because we got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory coming down. We got the Miz and R-Truth. We obviously got some of the Bloodline in their match, but 7 singles matches for SummerSlam.
I was cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, pacing of the show, everything else, I thought was great. I'm just shocked.
Yeah,
because
he might be trying shit.
Well, but since he's taken over, he has given more love to the tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the second biggest show of the year doesn't have tag team matches on it,
I can also see too. I bet you SummerSlam, Survivor Series will be more tag heavy. Survivor Series doesn't always. So I bet you Survivor Series will be more tag heavy. Not only the main event with the 5-on-5, but more tag team.
But you might get a classic Survivor Series match.
So you know what I mean? So that might be where he's gonna, because that's more of a tag team pay-per-view. So maybe he's gonna show them love on that pay-per-view. And he go ahead and get your singles here, and then we're doing my tag team shit here. You know what I'm saying? I think he's trying shit. You know what I mean?
No, and perfectly fine with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issues with any of what you just said. I was just surprised.
Yeah.
And I think Triple H, knowing that next year SummerSlam goes to 2 nights,
because who's the tag team champions on Raw? The Judgment Day. They're already wrapped up in two of their people wrapped up,
right.
And then the Bloodline, so that might be 2.
And then the women also happen. So I mean, they made SmackDown tag heavy. Obviously they had Jey Uso and Sami Zayn win their matches against the Judgment Day on Monday, but then Sami Zayn loses on Saturday, right? So Speaking of Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, nothing surprising about this match to me.
We called that.
We called it. Sami still looked like the underdog, even though he was the champion going into the match.
He didn't look weak at all.
He didn't look weak at all. He looked like somebody who may have just been caught off guard more than Braun Breaker got caught off guard. The match was shorter.
Those fucking speed. The first one was, the first one was devastating. The second one was too, but I think the first one was more devastating than the second one. And the Frankensteiner, I loved it. Yes,
is
so much better. I don't know what.
It's something to behold. Like, he jumped straight up to the top rope, then put his legs on him, then dove. Like, so for someone who, and by the way, I did remember that from before I got drunk.
So
drunk.
I like, because I was watching, I don't know if you sent it to me, I might have seen it. They did an interview with Braun before SummerSlam, and they were asking him questions, and they were like, was it your choice to not be named Steiner? And he said, yes. He said, I wanted to be Braun Breaker. He said, because I know it's so easy for me to ride the coattail of my family. He said, but having said that, I still do tributes to the Steiner brothers. He said, with my ring gear and some of my move sets, he said, but I want to be my own dude.
Yeah. And I heard that too. I think that was after the match, actually.
No, this is before, because they said, well, you got a match coming up with Sami Zayn. It was during the
because afterwards he did a post show interview.
Mm-hmm.
He was very humble, which based on his character, he's not really supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be the guy that gets in your face like all the time, right? But he was super humble in the moment afterwards, and he said, Sammy's such a great competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Love working with him. Like, he didn't have to give me the shot at the title. He did. He gave me the second shot at the title. I kind of made him, but he gave me both of those shots, and I'm forever grateful for it. It's great to see someone who not only has an eye for the business, and he came out of nowhere. Like, remember, he was the gold standard of NXT 2.0, but we'd never seen him before NXT 2.0. And he was a football player before that, and he actually told his dad he wanted to get in the business, so Rick made a call, which is kind of funny because I think they said that Rick now works at like a hardware store, just because he wants to support his family, even though he's made plenty of money in his career. But another nice thing about that was the post footage of seeing how excited
the Steiner brothers were,
and DDP, all sitting in one of the skyboxes, probably provided by Cody Rhodes, because it was DDP, so probably Cody Rhodes. Speaking of that,
I'm sure WWE might have.
Speaking of that, the WWE did something really awesome this weekend at SummerSlam. I don't know if you heard about it. Cody Rhodes was talking about it in one of his interviews, and he said, I don't know who gets credit for this, but the WWE, to their credit, sent out a mass text message to all of the wrestlers to tell them which Hall of Famers were going to be in attendance. And, not just so, oh, hey, you can go meet this person, or, just because Tiffany Stratton might not know who they are, but it was to really remind people of the history of everything. Because he said it wasn't just a text message; it had attachments. The attachments to the text message were like full bios of the accomplishments of each of those, like,
that's awesome,
old timers, if you will, because not all of them were Hall of Famers. But when I heard that, I was like, I'm not going to say that was Triple H's idea, but it definitely got implemented because of him.
Yeah, I don't think Vince would have done that.
Well, Vince was big on doing the things like the raw rewinds and whatever, where you'd have like all the old school people come back for a night. But this is different.
Yeah.
And this really does feel like them doing something special like the Hall of Fame weekends again. Because if you remember, Jesse Ventura was at Raw just a couple weeks ago, And I just saw an interview before we came on the air where it was CM Punk walking up to talk to him, and he goes, I don't know if you remember meeting me, but you met me about 10 years ago. And Jesse Ventura's like, well, and Jesse Ventura, so he's out there, and all of a sudden he goes, CM Punk, Phil, and he goes, oh yeah, CM Punk. I always liked you because you had a cool name. Where'd you get that name? And he goes, it was a childhood nickname.
Sick magnet.
Well, he said it was a childhood nickname, and it just kind of stuck, and I've been CM Punk ever since. And Ventura was like, that's really cool. And then of course immediately after that, the next video was Jesse Ventura pumping out his gummies. Like, I don't know if you've seen that, but he now sells his weed gummies.
All right.
Yeah. So all right, that was match number 2.
Logan in LA.
It was what I expected.
The highlight of the match, though.
What was the highlight?
That fucking flip off the rope that he did on the
LA where he almost broke his own neck.
I don't think he did that. He did it, but that flip, springboard moonsault. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
It was good. It was the right person went over.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the right time for him to finally be a champion in WWE. There's a video on Logan Paul's TikTok today where he's watching the match again, and he's got a tear coming down from his eye. and then it's one of those videos where it's like the breakup video, but it's him with the title, like in all the moments where he's like running down the beach and shit.
He gets my fucking nerves, but that's funny. That's funny.
It was fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
And you know what? Again, it's one of those things, like, he didn't say anything bad about LA Knight. He didn't do anything like that. He'll do that Friday. But he just put out this great, like, TikTok video, and I bet it has millions of views.
That's funny.
So that, yeah, I popped a little bit when I watched that. But yeah, the right guy went over. The Machine Gun Kelly thing, I think, was a little overdone. I think with Jelly Roll there and everything, we didn't need that.
But I think once again, like you were like, why Jelly Roll? And I said, well, because Jelly Roll just won a bunch of CMAs. Machine Gun Kelly's going to come out with a new album, so you know what I mean. I think they're very smart.
And I think he is from Cleveland.
I think so.
And if he's not, he definitely is one of the guys that Paul has on his podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, WWE has always been very smart about stuff like that, getting the it people, performers to come on their shows. So yeah.
And I mean, right now with WWE being as hot as it is, it's cross promotion. Because he'll post a video of his entrance with Logan Paul on his social media, which does nothing but get more eyes on WWE product. So absolutely. I just, again, it's one of those things where it's like, it took a little bit more time than it needed to get them into the ring. Yeah. Which, again...
But they had plenty of time.
4-hour broadcast.
They had plenty of time. Although we talked about that.
Although apparently they did come out and say that one of the title matches got cut due to time. So, I don't know which one it was.
It wasn't Cody's, a bit.
It might have been, but I think his would have gotten cut for a different reason. Because other people not able to finish.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Bayley and Nia.
Again, exactly what I expected to see happen. Bayley was actually looking like she was super strong, gonna go over in the match, and then it's Tiffany time.
Really thought she was about to do it.
I did not.
I thought she was about to do it.
If you remember, she promised Nia she wouldn't on Friday night, and it was right after Nia gifted her the Tiffy in the Bank. Which, by the way,
but that would have been
that it doesn't say Tiffy in the Bank.
Yeah,
but that disappointing.
But how many times I won't get involved. Finn Balor, I won't.
Well, she's not ready to turn babyface.
Okay. Yeah, I give you that.
And did you watch the post show?
I did not. I went home and passed out.
The post show interview, it was the two of them sitting there, and apparently they have really become almost like best friends backstage. Kind of like how Alexa and Nia were back in the day. And I can't remember who asked the question. Might have been Van Vliet, might have been Denise Salcedo, but one of them asked the question of, we've noticed that Naya's kind of taken a liking to Tiffany and really kind of like taken her under her
Mhm.
wing. Why, like, how did that all come
Sorry.
about? And she said, well, when we were going overseas for like the overseas tour, it was Tiffany's first time doing one of those, and um, I she said I also hadn't been to like Saudi Arabia or whatever. So I said, "Girl, I'm going to take you under my wing, and we're just gonna." And the way that they were talking during that, it really sounded like these two
That's cool.
spend a lot of time together. And then of course, like he's like, and then I bought my first Chanel bag, and then Naya's like, she bought her first Chanel bag, guys. It was also cool to see Naya sit there, and one of the people actually asked about when she got fired,
Oh,
and they said, so a year ago you weren't even with the company. Now you're back and you're the champion. Like, talk about that a little bit. And she said I can't thank people like Triple H enough for actually seeing something in me to want to bring me back, and then actually have enough faith in me to be in
uh-huh.
this spot. And I hope that I'm doing it justice. And by the
Humble.
way,
Sounds humble.
like yeah, she does. The other side of that though is that, like, she has been better. She's 1,000% better than my whole.
And she's not at now. I had question when she squashed Lyra.
Yes.
Is she
Oh, she
still
she spoke about Lyra, and she was like, because that was in Saudi Arabia.
mm,
She was like being in that match with someone like Lyra Valkyria, who was kind of new, but well-rounded wrestler. Like, it couldn't have been a better match. Like, it was just a great match.
she almost killed her?
She did, but she's giving props there.
Because she almost killed her.
Well, I think that's her apology
Yes.
too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Now, granted, I'm assuming there was an apology backstage. Because an agent had to have gotten involved there. Like, but yeah, yeah. But the fact that she was super,
Yeah.
I was very happy to see that too, because I don't think Nia,
Huh.
when she was going against people like Ronda Rousey, would have ever been that.
No.
So,
Punk and McIntyre.
match of the night.
Yes.
I mean, unless you
At
want to
first, I thought
unless you
it.
want to say Cody versus
At
someone.
first, I honestly thought it was going to be the. It started out, but then it kind of fizzled on me. Logan and LA started out strong. Started out like you. I thought that might have been a match of the night, but I'm gonna have to give it to Punk and McIntyre, because I did not think my favorite was Seth just letting them go at it. Seth's like, fuck it.
It was reminiscent of Shawn Michaels being the guest referee for Undertaker and Bret Hart back at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the bedazzled pants were kind of like a tribute to HBK.
Tony had me rolling that whole. And then all of a sudden he goes, and the pants have pockets. I almost lost my. Tony had me rolling, man.
Tony doing commentary.
Oh God.
It was kind of like Snoop Dogg at WrestleMania. Oh, we going out like that? We bringing out
right.
Sorry about that, everybody.
So
Make sure yours is on. Turn yours on. Because when that turned off, I think these turned off. It's funny is it's plugged in, so it should be charging. Underneath. You hold it in until it turns off. There you go.
Testes.
Wow, really? He's
But,
he's 3, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I do that at my show too.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you do it.
But what was I saying? Oh, me and Tony were like, screw
It's
it.
gonna knock over all the equipment.
Tony was saying, he was funny. He goes, we were trying to figure out where the bracelet was, and he's like, I hope he doesn't have it in his trunks. And then he reaches his trunks and put them out like, ugh. That's like Tazawa. Ugh, that's nasty.
Did you hear that the girl that actually gave CM Punk that bracelet, did it turn off again? The girl that gave CM Punk the bracelet actually asked Slim Jim or whoever had the match of the night thing, like she actually asked on Twitter, like does the person that gave the bracelet, since it's such a big part of this feud, does that person get something for this? So she gave the bracelet, and now she's like, hey, what about compensation?
That's terrible. How about your bracelet seen on TV every week? How about that?
Well, I guess I kind of do get where she's coming from. Like I'm not saying I would want I mean, I would like to see it on TV, but maybe hey, someone ask him where he got it from so that he can sit there and give that credit,
I guess.
But after it's gifted, whatever it's used for at that point, it
doesn't belong to you anymore.
Theirs, yeah.
It doesn't belong to you anymore.
Yeah, quit being like that. Quit, you bitch.
But what is wrong with these?
I don't know. Mine's working fine.
No battery dying, you think?
It shouldn't be. I plugged them both in.
My mic keeps turning off, y'all.
Well, here, all right, I'll just hold this one like this, and then we're both on it.
All right, and I'll hold this until it goes off again. All right, so match of the night.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was match of the night.
Okay.
And so far, have we guessed any incorrect?
No. So far, I think we both agree. So we said Liv. We said Braun.
Yep.
We said LA Knight.
Yep.
We said Nia.
Yep. So far, 100%.
I think we.
Oh no! I said Brew. You said Punk. So
Punk.
I'm still off perfect.
Yep.
100%.
I said Punk.
Okay.
Damian and Gunther. Now this match, you want to talk about hard hitting?
You talked me into the winner, and then we lost.
We lost. We did.
Turned off.
Mine did too. I just turned it back on. I don't know what's going on with these.
Maybe they just don't have very long battery life. They were kind of cheap.
So what do we do if they finally die?
If they finally die, I will move. I mean, I could switch it to the microphone on this right now, and we'll sound like we always do.
Yeah, we might want to do that because
sure. Folks, give me just a second. We're gonna switch our mic.
Where? Default microphone?
No, default saying actually these.
Oh.
I'll just put it on the webcam mic. So it's that one up there.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out why these things cut off before the show went so long. It's not a big deal.
So you talk about hard hitting. I'm still blinking now. You talk about hard hitting. Drew and not Drew. We were saying no, I'm trying to put my words together. We were saying that Gunther, I think in all his matches, he's stiff. He lays his
shit in. Yeah.
And it was cool to see Damian's like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna lay my shit in too. And so this was a hard hitting match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But when Gunther started bleeding, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, when it comes to Gunther, you're in it. It's like back in the day when you would watch like a Raven match, or you'd watch like a Tommy Dreamer like ECW match.
Please, sir, may I have another?
Yeah, exactly. Like watching him, you know what you're getting into, and you know that you're gonna look like a car crash victim, so you just deal with it. The question that I have about this is that everyone seems to be willing to do it, but he's only lost 4 times since being in WWE. So like
people getting shit chopped out of them and losing.
Yeah. So when do they finally get theirs? Because now granted, when you're having this kind of match against him, you're laying your shit in, he's laying his shit in, and you're like, okay, right? But he wins. See, some of that stuff you gotta be willing to sit there and like quid pro quo, right?
Take the L, bitch. Take the L.
Yeah, like at some point you gotta think that he's gonna lose some of these matches. Man, it really. What? I'm just trying to figure out like if I do. Can you still hear it? Yeah, you can still hear us. So this one right here.
Oh, okay.
And one of these days I'll get that thing working.
All right.
But these I actually thought would be better because we could sit further away from the camera. I love Gunther matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've had a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, what the fuck was that?
I think it. No, I was trying to find the card. I think I accidentally had the videos.
Yeah, I hate those.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I hit the damn play by mistake.
Some of those just automatically. So Tino, you don't use Twitter as often as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Elon Musk. Okay, you'll be scrolling through.
Fucking Elon Musk,
and you'll see like. First of all, you see porn, which I guess I'm okay with. You only it's every 3, and then you get like a video, right, or an advertisement. But now, so you'll be scrolling through in a regular video, like let's say a WWE video, you'll have to click play to watch, but the ads will start automatically.
Yeah,
and you know what kind of ads they have on this shit now, right? It's like, if you have a problem with your, I guess what the Undertaker would call a wiener.
Oh God,
you've seen that video, right? Yeah. God, it's the worst commercial. If you got a problem with your wiener, it's like you're a grown ass fucking man. You don't say, you could say cock, you could say penis. You could say the yogurt slinger. I don't give a, but you do not, as a grown ass 50-something. I don't care if you're the Undertaker. You choke slam me to hell. You say cock. You do not get to say wiener. Like, you're not 4.
You're ting.
Yeah. Your little wee wee. I mean, like, seriously. But anyways, but
dick. No.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking dick. Just say dick. There it is. Say your little Undertaker. Say your coffin. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Sometimes it doesn't want to do that sit up like I used to do in the ring. But anyways, so the fucking commercials on the advertisements on Twitter automatically start playing the video at the loudest possible volume. It's fucking horseshit. Yeah. So anyways, next match. Unless you want to keep talking about it.
No, we didn't finish.
Yeah.
So what happened at the end of the match? We thought
Finn
was coming down.
So we didn't. We saw earlier in the night where Damian Priest actually grabbed Finn Balor
because he was looking for Dom. He's like, "Did you know anything about this?"
And of course he's like, "If I knew anything, you don't think I'd tell you?"
Yeah.
And then of course, as soon as Damian walked off,
that look.
Finn had that look again.
Beat your ass.
Like that, fuck you, Judgment Day's mine, bitch.
Yeah.
So of course, Finn Balor comes down.
We think we knew, but he was supposed to be in Damien's corner.
And what happens?
For some reason, Damien hits his finisher and rolls Gunther closer to the ropes, which just made it easier for Finn just to put his leg over the ropes while the ref was counting.
Now, at the same time, I'm going to point out that Gunther's shoulder was under the ropes, which sometimes meant, rope break, sometimes means don't rope break.
Well, I don't think the ref didn't see that because he was on this side of Gunther and this shoulder was out.
Well, then if he saw the leg on the ropes, he definitely saw Finn put the leg on the ropes. Either way, we have a full-on dissension of the Judgment Day. Tonight's going to be interesting because either they're going to get it all over with at once, or it's going to be all night long.
I think it's going to be all night. I'm hoping they go back to Attitude Era where they have that continuum, just different segments with that. That's going to be fucking awesome.
Well, before Raw went on the air, and I was up here, so I wasn't even watching it because I don't have a TV up here yet. It was interesting because WWE posted a video of Dominic showing up at the arena with Liv.
Of course they did.
Well, but he was wearing all black, but it wasn't Judgment Day gear. And he was wearing a cowboy hat.
I'm sure Judgment Day, but they might be going
a
color change now.
I think it's going to be the 4 that are currently there, including Carlito. I think they finally let him in, and it's going to be Liv.
He didn't do shit.
Who, Carlito?
He didn't do shit,
dude. He's making that group what it is. Like his one-liners every week are the hit of the party.
I think my favorite when they all came in when Liv was stretching him.
I'm not doing anything.
No, that's cool.
No. The one where he goes, he said something like, we're not doing anything. He's like, looks like you're doing something.
It looks hard.
Yeah, when Damien's like, it's not hard, Dom, and he goes, it looks hard to me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. His one-liners have been like they are rivaling our truth at this point.
When Liv, when Rhea made him go, I think she would go fight somebody or something. He walked up. That's not cool. And he walked away.
When he had to fight Sami Zayn,
he's like, that's not cool. And he walked off. Yeah, okay.
He has been one-liner after one-line, and I don't know if someone's writing them for him or if Carly's coming up with them himself, but they are on point every time. And like I said, it's rivaling our truth at this point.
I was about to say, yeah.
And speaking of our truth, this is about the time when Grayson Waller and
because the Miz had come out.
The Miz had come out to announce
our truth was out there with it.
Yeah. 57,791, probably inflated about 8,000 or 9,000.
But you kept saying, look at that crowd, look at that place. It's full.
It was. Yeah. There was 50,000 people in there without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's like, when the Miz is like, Cleveland, my home, 57,000, and all our team is like, you invited all these people to your house?
You got a big house.
You got a big house. And he's like, no, I and he goes, how many people are here? And he's like, well, I'm glad you asked that. And then, of course, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory come out. They interestingly enough, both of those teams who won the tag team titles at WrestleMania no longer have the tag team titles, and suddenly they're getting in each other's faces. Pretty interesting there. Yeah. Obviously, the SmackDown tag team champions were going to get their moment last night anyway, or Saturday night anyway.
All right, let's do it.
What?
Oh, I thought you were segueing. I'm sorry.
Is that the last match? So okay, Bloodline Rules. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa. After, by the way, Cody Rhodes said, "I don't think it should be called Bloodline Rules anymore." Like anytime we have that kind of match, I don't think it should be called Bloodline Rules anymore. And the reason why, folks, if you didn't watch it yet, too late. Cody Rhodes won, and Cody Rhodes said, "Why are we calling it Bloodline Rules? I win those matches," and he's won both of them. There's been 2 in history. He's won both.
Good point.
I can't argue with that. It's like, maybe we call it Rose Rules. And then the Miz has to be the host. I'm kidding. Anyways, the match, 30-something minutes. Just like, WrestleMania, I think it was 45 minutes. This was 30-something minutes. At about the 25-minute mark, you get like Cody looks like he's about to win the match. Solo kicks out of a crossroads.
Oh, let me. My favorite part. I think you were lit.
I definitely was.
So I'm like,
we know I was.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, Kevin Owens and Randy will come back. No, they're not coming back. Why would they come back? And as soon as he said it, Kevin Owens, I looked at him. You were saying, bitch.
And then I was like, right.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and then
I hear voices. Yeah.
And I looked at you again.
Okay, so I didn't like the way that Randy ran down. Randy ran down so nonchalant, like he didn't give a fuck. Like, oh, I gotta go down there and help Cody. Okay, and he's just going, and then he's even like slapping hands with the crowd and everything. And then he finally gets it, and then he roughs people up.
I like this Randy. He's having fun now. You know what I'm saying? He's just having a ball.
I get that, but remember when everybody gave Jeff Hardy a hard time for coming out to save his brother, but he came out and he's like, to his music.
Well, Randy didn't do all that though.
But Randy was just. He wasn't walking. It was like a brisk walk. Like Kevin Owens ran down.
Yeah, and he said, "Look at that asshole! I'm not getting blown up."
It wasn't even this though. It was.
He's like, "I'm gonna get there." So.
And then he starts putting his hands out, just slapping hands. I was like, and by the way, I get why he wants to do that. He wants to sit there and give the fans a little something extra. I totally get it. It's such a nitpicky thing from me, but it's one of those things where like if a heel walked out because guess what? When Roman came out, Roman just walked, and
that was for dramatic effect. That was to soak it all.
Well, and if you listened, they played it up like Hogan Bash at the Beach, because when he was coming down, it's like. Well, we know he's got problems with Cody Rhodes. Who's he? He was
good but well who he was coming to get.
Well, but the way that the if you go back and you listen to the commentary team, they are trying to sit there and play it off like we don't know who he's coming down for.
They're trying to make us we're stupid.
Well, and here's the funny thing about it. While Cody Rhodes has said, yes, I beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he has not said anything bad about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Whereas Solo Sikoa has sat there and said, you will acknowledge me if you ever do decide to come back.
And he said, you've got a problem. You know where I am. So, I said, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he knew where he was. And he was wearing his brand new Roman Reigns ones.
No, I told you what that was.
What, shoes?
Oh, the ones. I'm talking about the shirt.
Oh, the OTC?
Yeah, the original Truffle G.
the only trying cheese.
Now, what I do want to talk about is
it's the original tribal chief. Yeah.
What I want to talk about is the splash that
what do you want to talk about?
That Fatu did and hurt himself, right? So that people were showing like he had a boot. Now I'm reading that's just because it's a work because they didn't want him facing off against Roman yet. You know what I mean?
I think he's going away for a while, man.
Well, he probably hurt, but that was a way to keep him away from Roman because if he'd have been healthy, he'd have been able to help Solo against Roman. So
yeah, I guess you're right because when Solo was out there crying at the end of the match, Fatu was on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
But he did look like he did something.
He did.
Like that leg kind of like flipped the opposite direction.
He sold it well, but I read it's a work.
Well, I hope so, but I saw Swerve Strickland's tweet about it, and he said, sorry to hear about what happened to you. Get well soon, Jacob.
Yeah, we'll see. I think everything I read is a work. It's part of the storyline, and that was it because Roman's already coming back, so you didn't need that yet.
Well, I think it's funny that because Triple H after everything at the post show sitting there talking about Jacob Fatu, and he's like, what can I say about the guy? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is he not signed to a bigger company than MLW?
Even I stand because he moved. Well, what did Bray Wyatt when he was Husky Harris? He's got a
Ferrari engine and a tank body, yeah.
And that's what fucking Jacob Fatu.
He's still smaller than a Bray Wyatt in the stomach.
Ran, jumped on the top rope, and flipped off. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Like from the floor to the top rope and then did a backflip on it. Dude.
From the floor or from the ring?
Well, the floor of the ring. He was in the ring.
Yeah.
But he jumped up.
Because if he did that'd be a world record.
Yeah. you know what I mean? Inside the ring, from the floor of the ring up to the top rope and then did the back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, a lot of guys are able to do that now. LA Knight does it. Cody Rhodes.
He's small.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes did it. You know, he did the Cody Cutter off the top.
I'm just saying a dude his size.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But when you grow up in a family that has football players and pro wrestlers,
you got that jump. You get that.
Well, they actually practice that with those.
Yeah.
What are they? I don't even know what they are.
Under the box jumps kind of thing.
Yeah. So you know that like forever he's been practicing that. But you're absolutely right. The fact that he does it at the speed that he does,
and doesn't fall, doesn't lose his balance.
Like he has done a couple times where it's like he does that, and then you see him like do another little hop just to make sure he's got his.
Yeah, because I guess they get they sweat and oil and all that stuff.
They do, but did you notice that most times that they do those jumps to the top rope, it's the opposite corners of the tag team corners?
Didn't notice that.
So I just started noticing that because those are going to be the corners that get less wet.
Because you also got to get the shit on the bottom of your shoes, which is I think a lot of them wipe their feet before they get in the ring.
So you're absolutely right. I don't know if I told you this, but when we wanted to get in the ring at the Fayetteville Comic-Con, the guys outside the ring said, "Hey, wipe your shoes." And I was like, "Really? I thought that was just like a like." And he's like, "No, we don't want shit in the ring." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And yeah, and when he said that, I was like,
makes sense because you're walking,
and
then you got people with the face and all that in the ring. You try to get it as clean as you can. Keep it clean as you can.
Well, I mean that's because like back in the day, hepatitis ran.
Yeah.
Hepatitis. Hell, I'm amazed that there aren't pro wrestlers with AIDS.
Yeah.
HIV, whatever.
Comment.
Oh, we got a comment. I thought OTC was on the clock.
Shut up. Love you. Shut up.
So Twitter's got this thing where they keep posting pictures of Roman wearing that shirt and it says wrong answers only. So it's like, so I wrote on the cheese. Like that's the only thing he eats is cheese now.
You're not messing with you today.
Obviously, we know it's original tribal chief or only tribal chief. Like I could see that being the case because Roman really isn't the original tribal chief. Because he was given the Ulafala by his dad, Sika.
Well, in that bloodline,
I mean, okay, since they started calling one of them the tribal chief, obviously Roman is the OG. But like I said, he obviously isn't the original tribal chief. Just saying. He's not.
Fucking shut up and go to the storyline. Why the fuck you gotta be so technical?
For the same reason that he's on the clock.
Jesus. Go to the suspend your belief. Shit.
I mean, but I think it's disrespectful. Did you see the video that Paul Heyman posted today where he actually called himself the wise man back in like the late 80s? Yeah. When he was Paulie Dangerously and he had the mullet and everything before he had the ponytail. He was out there talking. He's like, and the wise man, Paulie Dangerously.
Was that when he was WCW?
It might have been AWA. Like the video quality was quite bad. So maybe WCW.
Could have been ECW. Yeah. Okay.
No. It was definitely before ECW. Because ECW, I don't even think he used the fake phone anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah. Did you see the post from MJF where someone said if the top guy, because it was calling out when he went on the tirade back before, when Tony Khan like kicked him off the show.
When he cussed out Tony and told him to fire me.
Yeah. Actually, let's finish up SummerSlam thoughts real quick, but I do want to talk about that because there was a really good post this week from MJF about that.
Cool.
So Cody Rhodes wins the match, but he wins because the OTC, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, comes down, Superman punch spear to Solo Sikoa, and now there's a picture. It's a four side picture where it's Nia Jax sitting there holding her butthole. There's The Rock holding his stomach after Roman like speared him. There's Roman sitting there at the top of the ramp like just upset because Cody beat him. And then there's Solo Sikoa sitting there with Jacob Fatu behind him, and he's crying, and it's like it runs in the family. And I couldn't get enough of it. I looked at it multiple times.
Oh my God.
I looked at it a couple times because I was like, that's just so good. You got Nia Jax, it was just so great. But Cody Rhodes wins. After the match, Cody goes out. He does his whole thing. He's sitting there, speaking to the media, and they basically said, so, now you've beaten Roman Reigns in a Bloodline Rules match. Now you've beaten Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match. Is this a new thing for you and Roman, or like is there like a respect thing? And he goes, well, it's not like he's being invited to Thanksgiving dinner. So, in fact, Cody actually said that when he grabbed the belt and he looked at Roman, because they kept staring back and forth at each other. When he looked back, Cody went like this, and he basically said, "I know I owe you a rematch." So at some point, I assume we're going to get Cody Roman. In fact, he said he put 3 fingers on it when he did it to say third match. The rubber match there. Obviously, we now have Roman versus Solo coming up. My question to you about this, Tino, is pretty simple. We haven't seen Roman in 4 months.
Since WrestleMania was
April 3rd, April 4th, April 5th, whatever. And now here we are, August 5th, right? So 4 full months. He's been off. Hadn't been seen. Day after he lost the title, he was in the gym, posted one Instagram post. We haven't seen him since. Comes back 4 months later. We know that he's on a Brock Lesnar style contract now. Did they keep him off TV because now we're going to run a program with him? Because obviously SmackDown moving to USA on September 13th. September 13th. We know that he's typically a SmackDown person. Obviously, with the Solo Sikoa thing, he's going to be on SmackDown. So, do we get him through like the end of the year, showing up every week, every other week? Do we get him just? I think there's obviously we have Bash at Berlin. That's probably going to be something he'll go to because he hasn't been on WWE programming in so long, and I don't know if he's ever been to Germany.
3 months.
Does he do Bash at Berlin? Then he disappears again until Survivor Series, where we get Bloodline versus OG Bloodline, and then we get him at Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So he gets like a 4-month period every year now, where after WrestleMania he disappears.
I definitely think if he's going to be a SmackDown dude, and I forgot SmackDown is going to USA, they probably will use him heavily.
I mean, he will headline the first episode.
Yeah, and they'll probably
have The Rock back.
Yeah,
if I had to guess,
know.
Maybe The Rock will be the judge for the Bloodline court.
Yeah, that's a good question. So you think he is going to be sticking with the Brock Lesnar kind of deal?
I think that's his contract now. I think because even when he was showing up every other week. So he might be showing up 6 full months, but he's not showing up weekly. You know, now if you have him show up and he's taking 4 months off, you can have him show up 3 out of 4 weeks for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously with the, what's that? You looking at it?
Almost everyone in Judgment Day.
Oh, almost everyone in the Judgment Day feuded with, everyone they've feuded with has become part of the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting statement, Helios.
Yeah, Live.
Well, but they've feuded with a lot of people.
Carlito.
I mean,
people
Gunther's not joining.
But you know, the people who are in Judgment Day right now, it's because they had a feud. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you get people to turn to join your group. And you know, one of the things that they constantly said was, you know, maybe you should be part of the Judgment Day. To each one of them. I think they even said it to Carlito, but they didn't mean it for Carlito. You know, and R-Truth's not in the group. They feuded with him.
He was.
He wasn't. Hey, he was in the group actually. I still love when they did those AR things where you would see like the Damian Priest and the mommy, and then all of a sudden like you just see R-Truth and it said "Live, Laugh, Love."
That's still my favorite.
Yeah. I always say that when I'm playing Supercard that they needed to come out with an R-Truth Judgment Day special edition card, and they never did. And I was very disappointed by that.
A. I give it A.
So, and that was one of the things I was going to ask you, is that like everybody online is saying this was a great show, like an A show.
Mm-hmm.
The Logan Paul got hurt, apparently, got banged up, is what they said. And Jacob Fatu is the only other one that they say got banged up. Carlito and Bad Bunny. You know, it'll like I could actually see Damian Priest bringing out Bad Bunny to go against Finn and Big Head.
All right.
I mean,
the Bad Bunny's got an album to push, they might.
I mean, El Benito can come back anytime he wants to. So Sam Benito.
All right. Running out of time because what I want to know, there's something that would you talk about what you want to talk about the MJF? There's something I want to talk about.
Which show is what you want to talk about?
Stop. No, stop. You're going too fast. Go down. Right there.
This one. I posted it, so go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah. So I didn't. That's what you talk about. I didn't see that until today. So apparently, Joe Hendry, if I'm understanding it, he's still under contract with TNA. Does he have a contract because he's working out at the Performance Center? Does he have a contract with WWE too? Because he said he still has a contract with TNA. He works out at the Performance Center. He works WWE, and he's still allowed to do indie shows. So is he under contract with WWE? Because we know WWE doesn't let them do indie shows. They usually, why is this dude?
Triple H now, even right after SummerSlam, said we are open for business. If it makes sense for us and it makes sense for them, and they're willing to do business, we'll do business. Now, this is funny because also earlier in the week, Tony Khan got asked, and Tony Khan said, we're open for business if they want to work with us on like a super card. And apparently like someone midway, maybe higher up in WWE backstage stuff, being asked by like Sean Ross Sapp or whatever, basically said, yeah, they're not interested in working with them.
Not with AEW, but with TNA?
Yeah.
So my question is he just under contract with? Can he be under contract with two different companies? First of all,
he is under contract with TNA,
so not WWE.
Correct.
But they let him go in the Performance Center.
Correct.
And he can still be on WWE shows.
Correct. Because right now WWE has a working relationship with TNA.
Who's paying him? So I know because WWE they're subcontractors. So is he getting a check from AEW and not AEW? I'm sorry, TNA and WWE.
No, he's getting his check from TNA now. If you see him win a title in WWE, it'll probably be similar to, and I don't know how much you know about like European soccer, But in European soccer, you can trade someone's contract to someone else for a while.
Okay.
And that way, like a small market team who has a really good player can make money off of the bigger team while their players playing for them rather than playing for the smaller team.
So let's go to NXT for a second. For example,
Sure.
right? The Rascals. They are technically under TNA, but one of the Rascals who was also
Wesley.
MSK, no, the other dude. So if Wesley and that dude win the NXT Tag Team Championship as MSK, right? Does Wesley still get to go back with them to team? You know what I mean? It's how does that work?
I think as long as the relationship's working and both sides see benefit, you'll continue to see it. Very similar to the New Japan AEW thing.
So for example, that dude, so he's got a team WWE belt, NXT belt.
Sure.
So is he getting paid from both companies now?
No.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out how that works.
Well,
is he under contract? Because I think that they would try to be more careful. A lot of Triple H throwing it, you know what I'm saying? So they're more comfortable about their titles going to another company. And that's, I'm trying to figure out how that would work.
So great question. And there's only really 3 people that probably know the real answer, maybe 4, because I believe Nick Khan would be involved in these conversations. But the 3 people are whoever's running TNA at the top, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And here's the thing. You haven't seen, besides the Royal Rumble, you haven't seen a TNA performer show up on main roster.
Right.
Here's why. And this is, okay. Is TNA as big as NXT? The answer is no. No, because NXT is almost bigger than AEW at this point in terms of ratings and everything else.
Okay.
But is the NXT roster where it was in January?
No.
Now, besides Roxanne Perez, who is, I mean, the prodigy, but she is a prodigy, and she's ready for the main roster. I don't know if the main roster is open to having her yet because I don't think there's a spot for her yet.
No. Because I'd rather her stay a big fish in a little pond,
right?
Go to the main roster and then get lost in the shuffle.
Because I think people like Blair Davenport are already being lost in the shuffle. Isla Dawn and what's her face, Alba Fire.
Yeah,
they're already lost. They literally had their first defense of the tag team title since winning them.
Tiffany's not lost. So
no, Tiffany's not. Lyra Valkyria's not.
Yeah,
they've both made spots for themselves, and they've been able to. So, but it's the same. Carmelo Hayes kind of lost in the shuffle. I mean, they're finally doing something with him with Andrade, but I have a feeling they're going to move that over to X for Speed, so that they can go after that Speed title. But Braun Breaker came up at the same time, right in the main mix of everything, right?
Ilya Dragunov,
right in the middle of the mix, still kind of lost in the shuffle though. Like
I think,
like when he was in NXT, and so he's special. I mean, he's beaten Gunther. He's special, like to have him right there in the mix with Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, that's great. But he's the third wheel in that group. Now, granted, I think it's because Sammy's going to move on to other stuff. I think he's going to get tied up in the bloodline, whether we want him to or not. But going back to NXT, here's the thing. The NXT roster is not where it was. They have plenty of people that they're working on, like at the Performance Center, because they've got a lot of people that they signed from college and everything else, a lot of gymnasts, a lot of basketball players, everything that they want in terms of true athletes to turn into pro wrestlers.
Right.
But they're depleted. So working with someone like TNA right now, where you got a Joe Hendry, who also is probably at that North American title level, not which would be the TNA title level, if you ask me. I think they're about the same level based on ratings and everything else. And it's hard to say because right now Nick Nemeth being the TNA champion actually gives them a little cachet on that, right? So Nick Nemeth being the world champion in TNA, we know that he was Dolph Ziggler. We know he's a 2-time WWE champion, but it had been 10 years since he was that, right? So it's kind of like Matt Hardy showing up and going for the TNA title. My point that I'm trying to make here is that people from the TNA roster that need reps, because TNA only they do 2 weeks of tapings and then they're off, right? So this allows them to work every week. So getting back to your real question about championships and how that would work, we haven't seen it yet.
No.
Now, here's the thing though. While that agreement is in place, you're not going to see any of those people throw away a championship because TNA doesn't want to ruin the relationship with WWE, and WWE could crush TNA if they wanted to. So you're not going to see that. But again, I think that besides like Royal Rumble, you're not going to see TNA people on SmackDown, or you're not going to see them on Raw because
and I don't think that. I think they'll probably come onto TNA. I don't think they're going to. Until they come from TNA, if they come from TNA and they get signed to WWE and work their way up, yes, but you're not going to come straight from TNA.
And here's the other side of that. This relationship, and let's say Joe Hendry's contract runs out in January. Not sure when it does, but let's say it runs out in January. Who do you think he's going to be negotiating with when that contract runs out?
WWE.
Because he's already on their program, right? And since they've already introduced him as Joe Hendry, he's going to be Joe Hendry, right? And I'm not saying he would definitely be Joe Hendry if he went to AEW, because AEW doesn't care about that.
We know that WWE. Well, I don't think they've changed names in a long time, have they?
Depends. Like anybody that they've got under NIL deals that come up through like Thea Hale and stuff, they're not Thea Hale. Tiffany Stratton's real name isn't Tiffany Stratton, right? So anybody that comes up actually through their system is given a name. Now, granted, they should be, like Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker said, while I want to show to my history, I don't want to just jump into that name because it could fuck him.
Yeah.
He said it better than that by saying, like he wants to do it justice or whatever. But truth is, if he leaves WWE under any circumstance, he's gonna be Rex Steiner, because that's gonna be the name that people are gonna be like, yeah, that's who he should be. So one last thing about those titles, I do think we're gonna see somebody in one of them win one of the other belts. It's probably going to be one of the younger people. It could be a tag team belt. And the reason why I think that we could see it is because if the WWE person has to fight for the belt on TNA to get the WWE belt back, it's just going to be good TV. But I think you'd see opposite. I think you'd see someone from TNA actually win a WWE belt and be, coming back on NXT and actually doing that.
Yeah.
And with NXT moving to CW, you got to think that not only TNA should be wanting to talk to WWE right now, but the NWA should be wanting to talk to them, because NWA is on the CW app. So if you actually get NWA Power people sitting there showing up on NXT, but the last thing I'll say about it is that it's all because WWE already sees something in these folks. And Tommy Dreamer is one of the people on the creative team of TNA. Tommy Dreamer worked in WWE creative for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he helped work that deal out with Scott D'Amore before Scott D'Amore left, because apparently it was signed before Scott D'Amore left. And they know that it means that someone like Joe Hendry is probably going to leave, right?
Yeah.
But because they have that working relationship, what if Joe Hendry leaves to go to WWE, becomes North American champion in WWE, but they still let him show up on TNA for another 6 months before they bring him up to the main roster? I totally think that that's something. And then he's being paid by WWE to show up on their program.
Yeah.
You know, but then they've got to take the precautions and everything to make sure he doesn't get hurt on someone else's show.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I know I got long-winded there. I apologize for that, but I think it was a lot of information.
Yeah. I was curious how that would work out, but yeah.
So the MJF thing.
Oh yeah.
Real quick, MJF was basically like some troll on the internet said something like, can't believe that a boss would ever, WWE boss would never let you say anything like that about them on the program and blah, blah, blah. And MJF ended up coming back with like the ultimate like boom, right? And it was like, you're right. If Vince was still in charge, he'd ask me to have sex with his secretary while he shits in her hair, and then just tell me that I'm gold or something like that. And I was like, oh fuck. Right?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what got said about that one. Tino, you watching anything right now?
Finished Batman.
What you think?
I loved it. They're gonna come up with a second fucking season. I don't like the way they fucking it. That's what I hate. I hate when I get into a show and then the last episode you're like, yes,
and then it gives you the after credit thing, and you're like,
and then they're like, yeah, we're not gonna renew it.
Well, so the thing about this Batman series is
I loved it.
Is one, it first of all, it had half the creators of the original Batman the Animated Series attached to it, which is why it had the music, the feel. It still felt like a dark, like it was TV-14.
Yes.
I loved Minnie Driver as the female Penguin. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I love as the mama. Like it was like Mama from the Goonies.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
It's like, he was my favorite. Yeah, you're my favorite. I was like, God.
And of course, he's like, I don't know if I want to be the favorite.
I like the Harvey Dent.
Who by the way, we talked about it like when I was like, I don't know who's doing the voice of Batman. You said Dietrich Bader. No, Dietrich Bader wasn't the voice of Batman. He was the voice of Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And he was perfect for it. But Hamish Linklater was the voice of Batman, and
I was surprised that Harleen Quinn and the female detective, I didn't see that coming.
Oh, Renee Montoya?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. They were a couple all of a sudden.
Did you notice that they race swapped Harley Quinn with an Asian?
Yep.
And they also this one goes back to something Mr. Helios and I have talked about quite a bit. They replaced the redhead with a young African-American woman. Barbara Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
The Commissioner Gordon and Barbara are both black. Yeah. But the interesting thing to me about it is that Barbara's still redheaded.
Yeah.
But once again, they race swap the redhead with the African American. And I'm fine with it.
No problem with that.
Like none of that, and the race swapping, the sex swapping, I didn't have any problem with it, especially since it could be like different time frame and stuff with a bunch of the stuff. So like Oswalda could be a sister to Oswald Cobblepot, and we don't even know.
I want to know why he kept calling him Pennyworth, and then at the end he finally called him out.
It's because he finally started treating him like family. And yes, it takes thinking about it to realize that, but that's what it was. He finally started thinking about him as family.
And why was Albert like he does? They paid him well because he ate well. I can't get used to that.
I'm okay with
slender, bald, mustache Alfred.
But did you notice it sounded like the same voice from the original Batman? And I don't know if it was or not. But
and I was waiting for him to get Robin, and I was kind of expecting the kid with the slingshot. There's a redhead girl is the Robin in some of the comics. So I thought the one young girl with the slingshot was going to be the next Robin.
I don't know if you noticed, but okay, folks, sorry. He's the one that spoiled a lot of this.
I'm sorry.
That's normally my gig.
dude.
I let you start doing it so I can sit there and go.
I
Okay,
enjoy-
go ahead. Just spoil everything.
That's probably-
No, I'm kidding. But I don't know if you noticed, but the names of all of the kids from the orphanage
were the names of the
it was
Robins.
Tim, Jason, Stephanie,
Dickie.
Yeah,
Yep, I noticed.
and they were all the Robin names,
Yep.
and I was like,
Which one? That's why I was like, which one? That's why I thought it was going to be more the.
So, by the way, the one you're talking about is Carrie Kelly, and that's from Dark Knight Returns.
Mhm.
So I don't expect it to be Carrie Kelly just because of that, but I could totally see Stephanie being the Robin because she was a Robin before she became spoiler in it, and I think she's even been Batgirl, but
And I'm wondering when they're going to do the whole Batgirl.
I don't know if they will.
with Barbara.
I don't know if they will because her being a lawyer is already something different.
Or maybe Oracle, because she was.
And
Oracle, too.
that's where I would say, but even that, like with the time frame that the show feels, which is like 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't think you have an Oracle because you don't have the computers. But I also don't think you need her as Batgirl because I love this notion of her as like the DA.
I think she'll eventually, if they keep the show going, I'm interested to see if they eventually still let her find out because he gave her the phone number. So I'm wondering if she will eventually figure out.
Oh, she'll be the first to figure it out. Yeah. The thing I don't like about this, and it's nothing to do with the cartoon at all, it's to do with how many episodes. So when a cartoon like Batman the Animated Series would come out, and you knew that Fox was like, hey, we want a cartoon that we're going to want to show Monday through Friday.
And about 20 episodes.
There was 52 episodes or 55 or something like that.
I thought they would.
For the first season. Then every season after that, they would add like 15 episodes. And the reason why was because they'd filter them through, right?
Well, I mean, like going back when I went back through the Batman, it was like, it wasn't 52. It was like 26 or something.
Maybe it was 26, but that would still be one new episode for half a year.
Yeah.
You know, once a week. But when they, and we can look it up because I mean, that show had like 185 episodes, I think, or something.
That's what I watched. Max, that's where it's on. Oh, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm gonna look it up.
You know what? I don't think it's 185, but I do think it's over 100 episodes for the entire run of it.
What was it? The Batman? Which one?
Batman the Animated Series.
Because I went back and watched them all. The
Yeah.
animated series. All right. So for one season.
Well, just go ahead.
So what? Season 1.
Yeah.
And oh, you might be right, dude. You might be right.
Yeah.
Damn, it kept going. Wait, is this still season 1 now?
I don't know.
Let's skip to season 2. Go down. Nope, that's all season 1. 65.
Yeah. So
You were right. I'm sorry.
But the reason why is because 65 divided by 5 is 13 weeks.
Season 2 went to 20.
Yeah. So again, that's the way it used to be because you were doing it Monday through Friday. So it was 5 days a week. Now they go,
Season 3 is 24.
we're gonna go ahead and create this new show, and they only do 10 episodes, and you're like, you fuckers.
Yeah, I hate that.
Especially when they're only 22 minutes long. You know, like,
and I'm like,
so we have 3 episodes of Evil left.
okay.
Did you watch this week?
So shut up.
They've basically started calling this a mini season 5.
Okay.
It took a really weird turn. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
But I can't wait to see where it goes.
Okay.
It's been excellent. The show on Rotten Tomatoes has like 100 right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
With San Diego Comic-Con happening last weekend, there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out about like the different. You looking at the little trading cards that
Yeah.
I drew those like years ago. But I just read that Star Trek, which has the final season of Lower Decks coming out, apparently they're going to be doing a live action, like set in the world of Star Trek, but it's going to be at like a resort. So it'll be like all the different, but it's written by the people that did Lower Decks, so it's probably going to be hilarious. And then I just found out today, and I don't know if you've ever watched it, but Seth MacFarlane did his own spoof on Star Trek called The Orville. Which,
I've heard of it, I never watched it.
So here's the thing. The Orville started out like it was going to be Seth MacFarlane joking Star Trek, but it became better than most Star Trek. Oh, yeah. Right? And it went for 3 seasons.
Wasn't it? It was animated, right?
No, it's live action, and he plays the captain on it. It's him, Adrian Palicki, and then Scott Grimes, who if you watched the Ted TV show, he played the dad on that. Scott Grimes. Scott Grimes ended up saying at Comic-Con this like 2 weeks ago that they're going to be doing a new season of The Orville, and they're going to start recording it in 2025.
Come a new season of 10.
They probably will.
Yeah.
But like The Orville, like season 3 happened like last year. So the fact that like 2025 is when they're bringing it, like I don't like that about shows either, where they go, hey, because like FX had this really good show called The Old Man, and it had Jeff Bridges in it, and it's all about how like he's like, let's say he was John Wick back in the day, but now he's old, and now all of a sudden he's going to start doing all this stuff and like killing all these people and shit. Well, they're doing season 2, and I just saw it on Hulu the other day that they're doing it, and I'm like, oh, so I clicked on it, and it's like September something, and I'm like, you motherfucker, like 2 years in between a season. I don't know. Oh, it wants me to refresh the screen. I'm not going to do it yet. But we'll do it when we're in standby. It doesn't even let me click on it.
What the hell just happened?
Oh, I put us in full screen.
I was going to say, are we still on? Oh.
Yeah, we're still on. So Evil, like I said, that show's been excellent. 3 more episodes. Mayor of Kingstown just finished. Apparently, it finished excellent. I haven't watched the end of it yet. And I don't know what's coming up because I haven't seen anything.
My ass is falling asleep.
Yeah, I'm sure it is in that chair. Sure it is in that chair. But all right, so Tino says his ass is falling asleep. So because of that, folks, we're gonna call it a night.
It all of a sudden it's like no, my whole leg just like, oh damn. It hurts.
Well, we'll talk about something after we get off the air that will make you laugh, but I'm not saying it on the air.
Okay.
So folks, maybe next week Tino will buy himself a new chair to bring up here.
I might buy a chair to keep here. Buy a chair, buy for my house, but okay, we'll see.
I mean, you don't have to buy, like one of these, but a nice office chair that
that shit hurts my ass. All right.
An office chair?
No, this.
Oh, I mean, you could buy like just a hemorrhoid cushion if you want.
Spit on his pillows and fart.
I mean, that won't be the first time they've been farted on, I'm sure. So
what? I got pink eye.
Rob, I stayed over your house. I got pink eye. How'd that happen? How'd that shit happen?
Tino fucking pillows.
And with that, folks, we want to thank Adam's House Cat once again for our theme song, the wrestling song.
iTunes for 99 cents. 99.
Tino, go ahead, tell everybody your story.
All right, you got me on Twitter. I fuck it. You got me on Twitter. HootieFan91. I'm just questioning my can. HootieFan91. You can catch me on the Instagram, SC Tino, Snapchat. I think it's SC Tino as well. I am on the TikTok. You can find me Tino Great Music.
Yeah. Buy my book on Amazon.
Buy our shit.
Buy our shit. We got the t-shirt thing down here on the scroller. On Instagram, I'm Rob Potsy Potsy on YouTube. Like us, subscribe,
Buy our shit.
Do all that stuff. TikTok, I'm Rob Potsy Potsy. Twitch, I'm Rob Potsy Potsy. And YouTube, we're Rob Potsy on here. So, folks, we've had a blast. Hope you like the new setup. We're back with like the immortal image in the back and some of my cool shit that I've gotten over the years. But with that said, we are out of here. Hope you had fun. We know we did. We'll see you next time.